we can go ahead and get started. If you're joining and you did not get a chance to get into Menti, we will make sure we share that information so you all can get into the platform where we can hear from you all. So again, if you just joined, welcome to today's Know Before You Go webinar. That's the last time I'm going to say that. We are so excited to be with you all today to kick off the 2022 Workplace Summit happening in Las Vegas and with a virtual ePass, a hybrid event this year. Today's webinar, we are going to give you everything that you need to know before you go to Summit, as well as some program highlights, fun updates, announcements to get you all set up for Summit. This webinar will be recorded. We will be sending it out after the call later this afternoon to everybody who's registered for Summit. So make sure that your colleagues see this as well, remind them that they will be getting it. And we will also send a copy of the presentation and some links to help you all out. So on today's call, you will hear from me, Madeline Perot, use she, her pronouns, our CEO, Aaron Uritis, our Director of Events, Kira Jackson, our Senior Director of Learning and Develop, Isabel Porras, and a new face for some of you all, but some of you have heard a lot from them, Jen Nugent, our Senior Learning and Events Manager. All right, today's agenda, I told you we have a lot to cover. You're gonna hear from Aaron, you're gonna hear from Kira. We're gonna go over key dates and reminders. We're gonna talk about our ePass programming and our in-person programming. We're gonna talk about programming that starts in like 5 days, our pre-summit programming that kicks off on October 11th. We're gonna talk about the Mirage, where we will be in Las Vegas. Registration, everybody's excited about registration. We're going to talk about programming. We're going to talk about social media and how we can hear from you all on social media. And then we'll make sure you have all of the important FAQ information and contacts. And then we are going to save plenty of time at the end for your questions. Again, we are going to ask that you use Mentimeter for your questions. So please do put your questions into the Mentimeter at the end of the call or throughout, and we'll get to it at the end. All right, so this is the point where we want to hear from you all first. What are you most excited for this year's summit? So again, use Mentimeter. You'll see at the top, it's www.menti.com. And we'll see the words start popping up on the screen. What are you most excited for this year's summit? And let's see how fast I can go to try to catch these as they move. Networking is huge. Making friends, connection, community. This is hard for me to follow. Learning in person, connection again, learning best practices. We have so many things that we're excited for at Out and Equal. We're excited to see you all in person. We're excited to connect with our virtual attendees using the ePass. We're excited that we have pre-summit programming starting next week. There's so many things, the words keep coming in, but learning, networking, and community are the big ones that I see in the center. So thank you for putting those in. We will make sure we save this and look back on it together as a team. But yeah, we wanted to hear from you all. All right, so with that, they're still coming in. I'm gonna pass it over to our CEO, Aaron Uritis, to kick us off and to welcome you all this year's summit.
Thank you so much, Madeline. Hi, everybody. I'm Aaron Uritis. As Madeline said, she, her pronouns, and I'm the proud CEO of this amazing organization, Out and Equal. But maybe more importantly, as some of you know, I'm a longtime stakeholder of this organization, attending my first of 13 summits back in 2000, when I was still struggling with being out as a bisexual person within my own ERG at my office. The experience back then fundamentally changed the course of my life and career, and it continued to do so with every summit I attended. It gave me more than knowledge. It gave me the language and the friendships that have sustained me over the years when it wasn't so easy to be out. So I was really heartened to just see all of these words flashing up at us about what you are hoping for in Summit. The Out and Equal Workplace Summit is not only the largest and most robust LGBTQ workplace equality event at 5,000 participants and growing, but we are the world's largest queer conference, period. The staff and I are so proud to be hosting this amazing event. This is our first year back from a 2-year hiatus, of course, when we did virtual and not in person. And now we're doing a hybrid event. So we are not only proud, but very excited because we are bringing to you, whether you're virtual or in person, and certainly both, what we have become known and loved for, as well as some new and exciting elements. Now we are going to get started, and I want to hand it over to the team because, as Madeline said, there's so much information to cover. But before I do turn it over, I just want to say that I can promise you, because I have witnessed this personally, and because we on staff we have the lucky job to be at the center of hearing about the magic moments and connection over the years, is that if you let it, Summit will transform you. You will learn, yes, but your hearts and your networks will be expanded beyond what you thought possible if you let it. And these connections will sustain you in the year and help you feel unstoppable when you go home to continue to make changes in your workplaces. And therefore, I shall be the first and probably not the last to end with a Vegas joke, that what we hope is that what happens in Vegas certainly does not stay in Vegas, but you carry it with you home. So without further ado, and with lots of love and thanks to the best team in the world that has worked really hard to bring you this event and all this information today, I want to turn it over to Kira Jackson, who is not only unstoppable, but unflappable, and my extremely hardworking and brilliant director of events. So take it away, Kira, and thank you.
Thank you, Erin, for that great introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Kira Jackson, pronouns she, her, and we are so incredibly excited to be back in person finally, and to have you all, have all of you joining us today for the 2022 Workplace Summit Know Before You Go webinar. This webinar should cover everything you need to know to prepare you for Summit, and that goes for both our ePass and in-person attendees. We will be reviewing a lot of information today, so bear with us. But as Madeline mentioned, we have reserved time for Q&A at the end of this webinar, and this presentation and recording will be sent out after the call, along with some additional resources. So be on the lookout for that email. We have a great 2 weeks of programming, starting with pre-summit programming just a few days away. And whether this is your first summit or you've attended multiple summits, we hope you are as excited as we are for such an incredible event that we've got planned for you all. Lastly, the Out and Equal team is here to make sure you have a great summit experience. So whether that's next week, pre-summit programming, definitely on site, and for our ePass attendees, we are here to make this a memorable 2 weeks for you all. And once again, thank you again for joining us today. And I will turn it over to Madeline.
Thank you, Kira. Okay, so we're going to pull up our presentation again. Oh my gosh, people are already on it. Okay, how many in-person summits have you attended? We already have a lot of people answering. So many first-timers, 100, well, I can't even, over 200 first-timers, 1 to 4. Some 10 plus, I haven't forgotten about the 10 plus summit attendees. So this is great. I know a lot of people have joined us in the past few years virtually. So it is exciting to see how many first-time summit attendees we're going to have this year. And the numbers keep going. So keep filling that out, but I know we do have a lot to cover. So I am going to stop talking now, and I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Isabel, who is going to go over summit dates and other important program updates.
Excellent. Hello, everyone. Really excited for our conversation. That does seem to be our word of the day, but it is true. We haven't seen you all in a minute, and we're so excited to meet the 200 plus who are going to be joining our summit for the very first time. All right, so let's talk about what everybody's probably really curious about, which is the dates. When is this thing happening? As Madeline and Kira have already pointed out, it's right around the corner. We're actually going to be starting with our pre-summit programming next week. That's going to be Tuesday, October 11th through Thursday, the 13th. Please note that we will also be having our virtual career fair on that day. The following week is when we are convening in person in Vegas, as well as for those of you who are ePass, for our pre-conference day on the 17th, and then the 3-day Workplace Summit Conference on Tuesday, October 17th through Thursday, October 20th. I'm going to show you a graphic in a second that'll hopefully make that a little bit clearer. But for those of you who are going to be in person and wondering what to pack, please note that we recommend business casual attire throughout the summit. And I'll personally note there's a lot of walking, so comfortable shoes are always a good idea if you're able to do that. And for the gala itself, we recommend business festive. I know that that's quite broad. One thing I'll flag for folks, I've seen some sequin blazers at the gala, and so that's always what I think about when I think of business festive, but sequins are not required. If you do want to have some ideas of what to pack and what you can expect to wear, what folks will look like, we recommend checking out our Flickr photo album. There's a lot of really great pictures over the years of gala, but also the summit itself, our executive forum. You might, catch some great pictures of yourself in years past. But that's my tip if you need an idea of what to wear. Check out that Flickr album. So let's talk a little bit about what folks have access to, since this year we are in a hybrid program. So next week is our pre-summit programming. This is open to everybody. If you are joining us in Vegas the week after, please join us next week for pre-summit programming. If you are an ePass attendee, please join us for that programming as well. So everybody, whatever registration type you have, we will all have access to that, those networking sessions, the wellness labs, and the virtual career fair, as well as the summit on demand that I'll talk about in a second. The week after, October 18th through the 20th, Tuesday, October 18th through Thursday, the 20th. That is our 3-day workplace summit, the conference that we all know and love. Everybody who's in person will obviously receive access to everything. And folks who are joining us virtually during that week will be able to live stream or watch the recordings later of all plenaries, premier sessions, featured workshops, as well as the virtual engagement center. So we're really excited this year to offer programming for both groups. I think that spans multiple days. So it's a longer event this time, and that gives folks flexibility. There will be some content that you can watch live, but there's also content that is being recorded. As I said, those plenaries, the premier sessions, the featured workshops. So you're also able to catch up with those at your own pace. So let me talk a little bit about what this pre-summit programming looks like. So this is, again, October 11th through the 13th. We're going to be having our networking session. So those of you who joined Virtual Summit over the last 2 years may already be familiar with the Belonging networking sessions that Erin hosts. She's on board to host those sessions again this year. And if you haven't joined, I really recommend you do. It's a great way to sort of break the ice, build community, and especially if you're going to be in person the week after, is a good way to maybe identify some buddies, right? So we'll have those Belonging networking sessions. We also have networking sessions organized by our community engagement groups. And we will also have networking sessions tied to our global initiatives. And you'll be able to see there's a couple of sessions there on a regional basis for EMEA, for APAC, for Latin America. And we'll also have a just broad global networking session during that week. And on top of all of that networking, we'll also have a couple of wellness labs sessions for you. And I do want to flag these sessions next week that are virtual are also live. I mean, networking has to happen live. So please note the dates and make sure that you register and are able to join on time. Right, so that is the networking and wellness. Let me get a little bit more into our career fair. So we're really excited to bring that back. This year it'll be next Thursday on October the 13th. You can see our times there. It'll be 6 to 8 in the morning and then 9:30 to 12 Pacific, since that's the time zone we're using this year. And it's open to our partner companies, our summit attendees, and there will be select LGBTQ+ students that were invited. So as attendees, you'll be able to review links to job postings, connect with booth representatives, identify in your profile that you're interested in job opportunities. You can request and schedule meetings with folks. So we do recommend that you take advantage of the virtual career fair, but that you also plan ahead. Job postings and profiles of the representatives and recruiters will be available in advance. So please don't wait until Thursday to sort of dip your toe into the career fair. And if you need any help identifying the companies participating, you can select Virtual Career Fair Participant in the search bar on the virtual booths page. So that's the pre-summit programming. But that's not all. If we go to the next slide, I want to share with you the return of something that we launched over our virtual summit, and that is the Summit On Demand feature. So this year, all summit attendees in person, ePass, will receive access to this year's premier sessions that are happening, but you'll also get access to last year's premier sessions, as well as some of the top rated workshops from last year's from the Workplace Summit. So you'll see, and we've just highlighted some of the topics here from our premier sessions, a really great conversation between Erin Uritis, our CEO, and the CEO of Land O'Lakes, Beth Ford, our fabulous session that my colleague CV Viverito moderated on non-binary in 4 languages. Of course, our NBCU News Group Summit covering SCOTUS and LGBTQ issues in America. And there will be more than 20 sessions, workshop sessions in the library as well. So everybody will get access to that on-demand content starting next week. And I really encourage you to check those out. There's some really, really powerful conversations that are happening in that space. All right, so let's talk, and apologies, let me turn off my Slack. I think I have chatty team members in another group. Apologies, I didn't close that before. So let's talk about where we will be. Again, this is for folks who will be in person at the summit this year. So we are in Las Vegas. We will be housed at the Mirage Hotel. Unfortunately, if you have not registered your housing yet, the Mirage is sold out. So please, if you still have not secured your housing, make sure to do so as soon as possible. But the Mirage, unfortunately, is fully sold out. So for everyone, whether you are staying at the Mirage or whether you will be coming into the Mirage for the conference, we're showing on the screen now a picture of the map. The areas in green are where our conference will be located. You will have access to an easier to read version on your phone. I know this is on the screen, maybe a little bit harder to read, directly on our app. And we will also have volunteers stationed throughout the venue. So basically, once you are in the Mirage, you will find your way to the venue. It's very, very straightforward, the conference gathering space in the back end. And so I would say plan ahead, whether you're joining us for the pre-conference day on Monday or whether you're joining on Tuesday morning, a little bit more time to get used to the venue, to find your space. After that, I think it'll be pretty straightforward. And like we said, there's a lot of stations, there's a lot of directions, and we will have folks stationed throughout to help you find your spot. You will not miss the summit. Don't worry about that. So those are some of the notes on venue. Now, once you're in the venue, and of course, go to registration in person to pick up your badge, this is very, very important. While we are on site, attendees must wear your badges at all times in the meeting spaces. Your plenary seating assignment will also be listed on your badge, so please don't lose that. What do I mean by plenary seating assignment? If you are joining us as a partner organization, you will be seated together with your organization's group. You all will have assigned seating together. So we want to make sure that you are able to find your group, and therefore that you look at your seating assignment that will be on your badge. The badge sort of envelope, if you will, the kind of plastic covering, you will also be getting redeemable tickets. So for giveaway items at our booth, your complimentary drink tickets for night out, very, very important. So please make sure that you collect all of those materials and that you don't lose them. If you have any issues, if you do need any support, our solutions desk will be at the Grand Ballroom or the info desk located directly outside. Somebody will be able to help you. I will also note that we must have your health pass verification by the registration. So if you need a little bit more information about that, please visit our health and safety page. And I think Madeline is chatting that link in right now. We'll also be sending you additional reminders and information about that by the end of next week. A couple of other points before I forget on the badge. I just want to make sure I look at my notes. As I said, you'll be seated together. You'll get those redeemable tickets for drinks and giveaway items. If you have noted any dietary restrictions, you can pick up plenary meal cards at registration. So you'll be able to hand those to the catering staff during our plenary session meals. And as I said, please make sure that you have that health pass information verified ahead of time. All right, so that's our registration. We're already in the venue. And now I think one of the most exciting parts, of course, is our engagement center. And so we are going to have both in-person and virtual engagement center hours. Next, as we said, next week, it's going to be a little bit different, right? We have the virtual career fair on the 13th, but even if you are joining us as an ePass attendee, you will still be able to engage with the virtual engagement center during the week of the 18th, the 19th, and the 20th with the hours that you see posted there. Of course, folks who are on site at the Mirage in Vegas will also have access to the engagement center in person. And you can see the hours posted on the slide, so I won't read those out loud to you. And for those of you who are new and are like, what is she talking about? What is the engagement center? It's where all the cool kids are. Of course, the engagement center, it's our hub, it's our networking and meeting place. It's a great opportunity to get a chance to meet other attendees, to see the partner organizations, and of course, for our companies to promote their pride and engage with like-minded attendees. So there will be a lot of giveaway items, a lot of really fun stuff. And of course, I would be remiss to not plug our own booth, the Out and Equal booth. As I said, we're going to have some cool giveaway items for you. We'll have recharging stations, right, where you can recharge your phone, which is always, seems like my phone is always dying when we're at Summit. So I'm personally very excited for those charging stations. And we'll also have some lounging space for you to recharge yourself. If you need to take a moment away from folks, you'd rather listen to a live stream, we'll have some space for you to relax and sort of reconnect. And of course, we'll have some swag that you'll be able to purchase from our adjacent booth. There's some really, really cool stuff in the mix. So I definitely want to encourage you to make a plan to connect at the engagement center. And I'll also suggest if you're trying to identify meeting places with folks, the engagement center is a great sort of convening space as well. So that would be my recommendation. You have to go see it. All right. So with that, now I think it's time to turn to the most important part of the Workplace Summit. I was thrilled to see that learning was one of the very large words in that word cloud of what folks are excited about. And I am very excited to introduce to you my colleague, Jin Nugent, who is our Senior Learning Events Manager. Many of you have already gotten to know Jin through the workshop proposal process, but Jin is our Summit Learning Captain. And so I will turn it over to Jin to share a little bit more about all of the cool programming we have in stock this year.
Thanks so much, Isabel. G'day, everyone. My name is Jin Nugent, pronouns they, them, and I have had the honour of working closely with the extraordinary team here and many of you as well to curate the learning opportunities at Summit. Once we hit Vegas, the in-person experience begins on Monday, October the 17th. There are 2 concurrent programs running. One is the Diverse Leaders Fellowship. This is a year-round program that kicks off at Vegas. It's intended to increase the pipeline of out early and mid-career underrepresented LGBTQ plus talent in Fortune 500 companies. So this year's fellows have already been accepted, and we'll be opening up the application for next year's cohort in a few months. So keep an eye out for that. The second program that's running throughout the day on Monday, October the 17th, are the Practitioner Leadership Labs. These are 2.5-hour deep dive workshops on key workplace inclusion issues. These sessions feature experts in DEI best practices and LGBTQ plus inclusion. And if your travel plans permit and you have not yet registered for those Practitioner Leadership Labs, it's not too late. You can still go ahead and register for that one-day programming if that suits your travel schedules. Of course, we augment that with wonderful breakfast and lunch general sessions and exciting programming and special guests there as well. All right, so moving on to Tuesday through Thursday. We have so much amazing content for you. I don't know, frankly, how we crammed it all into just 3 days. We have 12 workshop blocks with up to 11 concurrent sessions happening in each block. So there is so much for you to learn from, enrich, engage. It's all going down at Summit in Vegas. Each sessions are divided into 14 different tracks. I'm just going to call out a couple for you. Allyship content is part of the belonging and workplace culture track. We have the trans and non-binary track, and we have a new label track called identities, and that's where you're going to find ace, arrow, bi, intersex, two-spirit, and so much more is under that identities label. So all of the tracks are clearly marked when you get into the conference app, which we'll be talking about in a few moments. 2 of each session, let me start again. 2 workshops in each session block have been designated as featured workshops. That means that they're going to be live streamed. Now, you can't be in 2 places at once, and nor can we, no matter how much we all try. So the good news is that the live streamed workshops are going to be recorded and will be available for you to watch after the event through the conference app. Now, don't despair. The conference app also has a web version, and so you can watch them on your computer, on your desk, from your couch, from your back porch, whatever suits you. And all of those recorded and live streamed sessions are available until November the 18th through the conference platform. Next. And finally, the cream of the crop, we have our premier sessions. These are specially curated by Out and Equal to represent the pinnacle of topical programming affecting all of our workplaces at this time. They're shown here on the slide on screen. They're also called out in the schedule as premier sessions. And just like the featured sessions, you can watch them live through the conference app or catch up with them afterwards by watching the recordings until November the 18th. So whether you're Vegas or virtual, we have a ton of content for you to enjoy. Back to you, Isabel.
Yes. And then, of course, our plenaries, which I am really, really pumped to get to experience again. So we have 3. For those of you who have not joined us before, you are in for a treat. We kick off the summit with our opening brunch. On the following day, we have a power lunch. And finally, we close the program with a gala. I'll flag that each one of these programs does have a meal, so you will get fed. And I also want to note that programming begins at the start time listed. The doors do open 30 minutes prior. And I'll share with you, as somebody who very much comes from a fashionably late sort of background, I learned the hard way. If you are fashionably late, you will miss some very cool programming kicking off. So we do have those doors open 30 minutes prior. We're also doing that for the workshop sessions. So that half an hour is really there to give you time to take a bio break, to wrap up conversations, but also to get to the venue, to your next location a little bit early. Make sure that you get to your seat. Now, as I said earlier, everybody has a seat for plenaries. Some of those seats are going to be assigned if you're with a partner organization, but you don't need to worry about finding a spot. There will be a spot for you. However, the programming starts. You want to get a chance to connect with folks ahead of time, et cetera. So do try to be there before the programming kicks off. And as I said, the plenaries are always a major highlight, and this year will be no different. We have inspiring celebrity speakers this year, some of whom you may have heard already. We are really, really thrilled to have Paul Oakley-Stovall return in person. He's joined us virtually over the last 2 years as our host. So really excited to have him join the summit this year in person. We are thrilled to be hearing from Kal Penn and Jillian Mercado. And those of you on the call today are actually the first people, and I can't believe that I'm the one that gets to make the announcement, that we will also be joined by Tituss Burgess. So we are really, really excited for that. Make sure to write that down in your calendars, and you don't want to miss these plenary sessions. On top of that, I will also flag that on Wednesday, October 19th, our power lunch, we will have a snowflake mass participation exercise that I think promises to be very, very engaging. And on Gala, we will be celebrating the Audi Awards. And after that, we have another surprise performance that I promised I wouldn't share anything about, but there is a lot. So please, please make sure that you are on time and prepared to celebrate with everybody here. That's our daytime, right? So those of you who've joined before are probably wondering, what about night out? Night out typically happens on Wednesday. This year is no different. So Wednesday, October 19th from 8 to about 11 o'clock, we'll be celebrating at the Mirage outside in the pool area with a celebrity DJ. I'm really excited about that celebrity DJ. We can't share yet, but you're going to be hyped. And we will also have complimentary appetizers, non-alcoholic beverages, of course, and two complimentary drink tickets for those who would like to have an alcoholic beverage. So I don't know about the rest of you, but I have really been waiting. I hope that I don't burn out before then, because this is going to be the time to be able to relax and celebrate and get to see all of you in person again. So make sure that you write this down in your calendars, add it to your agenda, and I'm really excited to cheers with you on Wednesday. So that is our programming. And now sort of let's get into the logistics. How are you going to access this? Where does all this information live? What do we do, Jen? Help us out here.
Okay, the good news, it all happens through the one platform. So there is one platform starting tomorrow. If we can go to the next slide. Starting tomorrow, everyone who is registered will receive an invitation to the Summit platform. Important note, we'll be using the email address that you use to register your attendance. So make sure that you've got Summit support at outandequal.org added to your whitelist so the email gets through. The subject line will read access to the 2022 Summit platform. And make sure you check your junk folder, because firewalls, filters, all the things happen. but that is coming out for you tomorrow. Next slide, please. And the first thing you will see will be a Start Here slide. It's an app. We're all grown-ups. It's not rocket science. The Start Here app will walk you through how to set up your profile and walk you through some of the tips and tricks of all the different ways that you can use the conference platform to make connections, build your schedule, and otherwise have a fantastic time and make the most of your time in Vegas. Importantly, when it comes to workshops and attending workshops, there is a difference here between ePass attendees and in-person attendees. So this we're going to pay attention to. If you're an ePass attendee and you reserve a spot in one of the workshops or engagement sessions happening next week, that literally reserves you one of the Zoom licenses available for that session. So go ahead, make your plans, reserve whatever you want to attend. What we do ask is that if life happens and you're not going to be able to attend anymore, just uncheck that session so that that license is available for somebody else. We usually do run a wait list for these sessions. We will be starting on time, so any unclaimed spots by the time the session starts will be released and go back so that we can make use of those unclaimed spots for the wait list of people. So that's one courtesy that we ask. We understand life happens, but do just do us a favor and uncheck that session if you're able to. When you are in person, you can browse the agenda and add sessions that interest you to your agenda. All of that happens through the app. You'll be given a step-by-step instructions once you click through to the app and land on that Start Here page. What you need to know if you are in person is that it does not reserve you a physical seat in that session. So there, as Isabel mentioned, there's 30 minutes in between each session. So make sure that you go to the room and claim your actual seat for each session that you wish to attend. So in person, virtual, it does reserve a spot. Sorry, I got myself mixed up. ePass, virtual, it does reserve you a spot, release it if you can't attend. In person, it does not save you a seat. You can add it to your agenda, but you need to go to the room to physically claim your seat. Okay, next slide. And finally, in the app, you will see the plenary sessions. These are automatically added to your personal agenda. So everyone has their seat. There's no need to worry about those. And for Night Out, this is an in-person only event, and all in-person attendees will receive access to this event as well. And from here, I'm going to send you back to Madeline Perot, who will talk us through some of the social media.
Thank you, Jen. Okay, social media. We want to see how you're experiencing Summit. So we want to encourage you all to post your Summit experience on social media, whether it's ePass or in person, photos, screenshots, tweets, LinkedIn. Use your social media platforms throughout Summit. Our hashtags this year are on the screen, hashtag OE Summit 2022 and hashtag Unstoppable, our theme. You'll also see our social media handle on the screen at Out and Equal on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Please do follow us before Summit. You'll see daily updates, content, and other important pieces of information throughout Summit. And I've already seen a lot of you all posting with the countdown to Summit, so keep it up. Important contacts you'll see on the screen. And again, we're going to send this out, so don't feel like you have to jot everything down right now. Here are your contacts for the next few weeks. For platform support, for all Summit inquiries, you'll see at the top, Summit support at outandequal.org is going to be your best friend over the next couple of weeks with your general Summit questions. And then you'll see we have inboxes for more specific questions, housing, partnerships, if you're learning or interested in learning more about Out and Equal partnerships, workshops, and the engagement center. So any general requests, please do send to summitsupport@outandequal.org. For more specific questions, you'll see housing, partnerships, workshops, and the engagement center. We also have a comprehensive Summit frequently asked questions document and an FAQ for our health and safety protocols, which my colleague is going to put in the chat momentarily. Go to the next. Okay, one last time to hear from you all in today's webinar. What does unstoppable LGBTQ+ workplace equality mean to you? A safe place, welcoming, visibility, opportunity. It's moving too fast for me again, which is a good thing. Belonging, progress, authenticity. Belonging is the big one. Opportunity, progress. So keep putting those in and think about this. And then today, back to the social media conversation, post on social media. What does this mean to you? Post what you're looking forward to, post Summit throwback photos. I've seen a couple of you have been posting your Summit throwbacks to last time we were in person. Tag us, use the hashtag OE Summit 2022 and hashtag Unstoppable. Post what unstoppable LGBTQ+ workplace equality means to you and share your pictures and what you're excited for with this year's Summit. Alrighty, so now we are ready for our questions. You all have been putting questions in. If you have not, you have questions, please again put your questions into Mentimeter. At the top, you'll see the code if you've not logged in yet. We're going to go through these questions knowing that we have 15 minutes left. If we do not get to your question, we are going to send out all of this information after the call this afternoon with the recording of the presentation and a copy of the presentation. So we will send you all this information, and then you can let us know if there's any questions that we didn't get to or if something comes up later. All right, question number 1, will there be water stations for refillable water bottles? Kira.
Yes, happy to answer this question. There will be water stations throughout the meeting spaces, inside the workshop rooms, inside the engagement center. So you will be hydrated at Summit.
Thank you. Number 1 was easy. What is the attire for night out? Is it a poolside party or literally a pool party? This is a great question. And Isabel has come on, Kira is on. Kira, do you want to start? Isabel, you jump in.
I can jump in. I can jump in since this was my slide. Great question. It is a poolside party. So we will not be getting into the water. It's a lot of liabilities and it's also nighttime, but it is a poolside party. So I would say pool business festive. I don't know what that means in terms of planning. I would say lounge outfits, be comfortable, but we will be dry.
Yeah. Kira, anything to add, or I think that covered it.
That covers it, yeah.
Yep. Will there be food during the conference? Yes, I'll jump in and then I'll let Kira jump in. We will be serving meals during the opening brunch plenary, the power lunch plenary, and gala. So your 3 plenary sessions throughout Summit, we will be serving meals. And then Kira, anything that you want to add other than that?
Yes, for excuse me, for those of you who are participating in pre-conference day programming, there's also going to be a breakfast and lunch for those 2 days. But within the Mirage Hotel itself, there are multiple restaurants that you can definitely stop by and grab some food, quick bite, or, more of a restaurant and dining experience.
Thank you. Kira, this is you again, I believe. Will the Mirage offer complimentary Wi-Fi?
Out and Equal is going to provide complimentary Wi-Fi for all of our attendees. This is going to be for those of you who are staying at the Mirage. There will also be, your Mirage room Wi-Fi, but we have a dedicated network and password for our Wi-Fi in the meeting spaces, which will be kind of posted everywhere once you arrive on site.
Thank you. Will there be non-gendered or gender-neutral restrooms available at the Mirage? The answer is yes. We will have gender-neutral restrooms available for our summit attendees. Kira, anything to add?
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Do we need to sign up for each individual workshop, or is it first come, first serve? Well, that's two different answers. For in-person, you do not need to sign up for each individual workshop. It is first come, first serve. So, plan out your summit experience using the app or using your workbook when you come in person, but you do not need to reserve ahead of time. I will pass it to Jen to clarify again the ePass workshop experience that they went over earlier.
Thanks. And I understand this is a bit nuanced for people, so I'm happy to go over it again. Programming for next week is all virtual programming. And for that, you do need to reserve your space. And you can do that through the app when you receive that invitation tomorrow. When we are in person, you do not need to reserve your space, but if you add something to your agenda in the conference app, it doesn't guarantee you a seat in the room. So as Madeline said, you do need to go and get your little patootie onto a chair in order to ensure access to that session.
Thank you. Okay. How many in-person attendees are there? We are we're looking at having about 3,500 in-person attendees with hundreds other on the ePass for our summit. So we are going to have a lot of you all with us in Vegas this year. Hello, I have downloaded the Pathable app, but I'm unable to register on the app as they don't show me as registered. So with Pathable, we are actually going to send out your access to Pathable tomorrow. So again, Kira, if you don't mind putting that subject line in the chat of what you should look out for tomorrow, you are going to get an email with your access to the virtual platform where you can log in and start setting up your agenda. So you will be given access tomorrow, October 7th.
And then that will allow you to download the app.
Yeah. General length of the day, start and end time. We will chat the link to the summit schedules. Again, tomorrow when you're given access to the virtual platform, you can see the exact times of all the different sessions that you're looking to attend. But we will chat in the link to the schedule so you can see kind of start to finish. It is a very full day of summit with some, events into the evening like night out and the gala on Thursday night. So plan for long but exciting days. Where can we find the Flickr photo album? I will chat again I just chatted the gala album. I will send in just a moment when someone else is speaking or if someone else wants to do it before that, I will chat out our Flickr profile that you can view all past photos from Summit and Executive Forum and all of our events.
And we'll also be sure to include the Flickr link when we send out the additional resources. We'll kind of compile all of the links we've chatted in throughout today's webinar. So it's all compiled in one place for you.
And we'll have, in about a month from now, all of our photos from this summit on Flickr as well. Do we have to select a track, or can we attend sessions from any track? Jen is on screen, and they will get you that answer now.
You do not have to select a track, and you can attend sessions from any track. And when you get into the app, you'll notice that most sessions are applicable for more than one track.
Thank you. The Pathable app. You tomorrow will be able to download the app and get all logged in. We will put in the chat if somebody wants to put in what folks should search for. Also, there will be information in Pathable tomorrow about downloading the app. So you tomorrow, when you get access, should go ahead and download the app, because if you're attending in person or on the ePass, you should have the app for Out and Equal. So you're going to search Out and Equal 2022 in your app store, and you should be able to find it. You'll see our logo, and you can go ahead and download it and get all set up tomorrow. We will remind you a lot in person to download the app. So go ahead and do that now, and then you'll be all set.
And just want to call out that it's the Pathable and then our Summit platform app are used synonymously. So it is the same thing what we're talking about here.
What is the agenda for Monday, 10/17? Jen has come on screen to answer that question.
On Monday, the 17th, we have the Diverse Leaders Fellowship programming, and we also have the Practitioner Leadership Labs programming. They're the two options for in-person on Monday, the 17th. Isabel, do you have something to add?
Yes, and just to clarify, those are a separate event. So the summit itself, the 3-day conference, will be the 18th and 19th, the 20th. And if you are interested in the Practitioner Leadership Labs, registration is still open for those, and I can share the link to those as well.
Thank you. We answered this, but just as a reminder, as Isabel mentioned, we will not be swimming at Night Out. We will be dry and on the side of the pool, not swimming. Is the swag that will be available in the Engagement Center different than the swag available at the online store? Isabel? I think you covered that in the presentation.
That is a great question, and
so I'll answer it. So you can buy the t-shirt on our online store. We will have giveaway items in the Engagement Center that are not available on the online store. So when you arrive in person, you can grab your giveaway items at the Out and Equal booth. How do we sign up for the Wellness Labs? Kira, do you want to talk a little bit about Wellness Labs?
Sure. So when Jen was covering the pre-summit programming and how you reserve a seat, that's how you do that for networking sessions as well as Wellness Labs. So once you get access starting tomorrow, you can go in, along with updating your profile and referencing that Start Here tab in the navigation bar. You will have access to the agenda tab as well. And that's where all of our sessions, every single session, in person, ePass, Premier sessions, everything is located in the agenda tab. And you will be able to look at the Wellness Labs. And if you are interested, you can select Add to My Agenda, which does reserve you a seat in the session. I will flag that while Jen did mention if you can no longer attend, to please deselect or remove it from the session from your agenda. I will note that these sessions will, in addition to them filling up, we will typically find that not every single attendee will join us. So if you were unable to add it to your session, but still interested in joining, click into that agenda session when the time is, if it's the Wellness Lab starting at 9 a.m., join that session around 9 a.m. and you'll see if we have space, we will go ahead and chat in the Zoom information for you to join.
Thank you. Yes, Summit platform is hosted on Pathable. You have probably heard us saying it interchangeably throughout today's session. So the virtual platform that you will be given access to tomorrow is Pathable. Pathable hosts the platform. So yes, short, a long way of saying yes. Do you accept EU COVID pass as proof of vaccination for those of us coming from Europe? Kira?
Hello, for
Sterling.
those who don't know me, my name's Sterling Joseph Phillips. I'm the event manager here at Out and Equal, and we will be accepting the EU COVID pass. We ask that you bring this to the registration desk with a valid government ID, and that will act as your proof of vaccination.
Perfect. And we will send out again in our follow-up the health and safety FAQ. Summit Buddy program. When will we hear about the Summit Buddy program if we signed up?
I can jump in. So this is during your registration process, attendees were able to opt into the Summit Buddy program. Unfortunately, we have closed this in order to give folks time to meet with each other. So if those emails were sent out already and you were grouped in trios, so if you did not receive an email telling you who your buddy trio is, please reach out to the Summit support email address, and we will make sure you get paired up with your group.
Thank you. And I know we are at time, and I do see some folks having to drop off. So if you want to stay for just 2 or 3 more minutes, we'll try to get through a couple other questions, and then we'll wrap it up, knowing that if you had a question that wasn't answered, we are here to answer that question for you in the next couple of weeks. So if you are hopping off, thank you so much for joining. We are very excited for this year's summit, and we are happy that you were able to join us and get excited with us. Let's go ahead and maybe do 2 more questions since we have some folks hanging on, and then we will get the presentation out, but I'll give a chance for my colleagues to say their goodbyes and thank yous since we got some people dropping. So if we want to do another question or 2, Kira, or
yes,
otherwise we can, okay. This might be a question for you, actually. Will there be dedicated lactation spaces?
I will actually let Sterling answer this question.
Yes, I'm very happy to say that there will be dedicated lactation stations. They'll be located right by the plenary, as well as quiet spaces also by the plenary space. So those will be on your map for you. Make sure to look out for them and enjoy.
Thank you. All right, let's give it 1 or 2 more questions, and then we will wrap up today's webinar. How many representatives are required to be present at a company's booth in the Engagement Center? Sterling, that is you again.
During the open hours of the Engagement Center, we ask for at least 1 representative to be there, but often it is highly recommended that at least 2 or 3 be available because the space does get pretty busy. So please have someone always at your booth. If there is for any reason that you need to hop away from your booth, please let us know and we'll be happy to help out when we can.
Thank you. I believe this is a great question to end today's webinar on because it is exciting. Does everyone attend the plenary sessions? Yes, everyone does attend. We encourage everyone to attend the plenary sessions. Again, Tuesdays will be our opening brunch. Wednesday's plenary session will be our power lunch, and Thursday will be our gala. So yes, please do plan to attend the plenary sessions. All right, so that was an exciting question. Again, thank you. Thanks for everybody who stayed on a few extra minutes. We are this is the buzzword of the day, excited for Summit this year. And we are excited to see you all in person, connect with you all on the ePass. Again, we will be sending this out after the call, but I'll pause and see if anybody wants to say anything. And otherwise, we will see you all starting next week.
I'll just say really quickly, yes, excited is our word of the day. I'm looking forward to lounging poolside with you all. So very excited for that.
As Isabel said, comfortable shoes are important, but the loungewear will be important for the dancing. So you'll not just be lounging, but those of you who love to dance can dance. We have so much in store for you. Thank you, whole team, Isabel, Kira, Sterling, Madeline, everybody who helped put this together. It's just going to be a phenomenal week. And we look forward to seeing you in both spaces, in the virtual and in person. I'm sure there will be lots of hugs and lots of fist bumps and all that for what I think will feel like a reunion. So safe travels to everybody. Stay well and take care of yourself on your way to us. And we'll see you online next week. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you next week.